means if you have got the time to work with a successful individual in your organization near to your cabin, you learn from him, right? Knowledge is, whether it is any profession, knowledge is very valuable. You never know when it will be helpful to you. Without any inhibitions, you think what is right, you advise them. Whether they do it or not, that is not your job.
Like, what advice would you give to students how to face failure?
Try it again. The only way to come out of it is try another interview, do it again. If you do not fail, you don't know what is success. And there is no individual in the world who continuously got succeeded.
From filings to fundings, from boardroom to board leadership, आज के गेस्ट सिर्फ एक कंपनी सेक्रेटरी नहीं है बल्कि एक विजनरी है जिन्होंने वन ऑफ द इंडियाज लार्जेस्ट सैलून जावेद हबीब सैलून को इन अक्रॉस कंट्रीज प्रॉफिटेबल बनाया है. ही स्टार्टेड हिज करियर विद इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग. उसके बाद उन्होंने अपना इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग से करियर CFO किया एंड देन फाइनली द CEO ऑफ जावेद हबीब सैलून. सो गाइज, अगर आपको एज ए CS टॉप पर जाना है, बिजनेस लीडरशिप में जाना है, मल्टी कंट्री बिजनेस स्ट्रैटेजीज के बारे में कुछ जानना है या फिर स्ट्रैटेजिस्ट बनना है, तो ये पॉडकास्ट बिल्कुल आप लोग के लिए है. ये आपको मजबूर करेगा सोचने के लिए बियॉन्ड CS एज जस्ट अ कंप्लाइंस. लेट्स वेलकम वेंकट सर. ओके सर, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर जॉइनिंग अस ऑन दिस पॉडकास्ट. आई एम रियली ग्रेटफुल कि आप इस पॉडकास्ट के लिए अग्री हुए. नाउ आई रियली नो योर जर्नी एंड आई heard it from you, but I want you to give a brief snapshot of your journey ताकि हमारे ऑडियंस को पता चले कि what is your background and like why you chose CS, what was your journey after choosing CS, how's it going?
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here. First of all, before I begin about my journey and all today, let's salute our brave armed forces.
Actually,
who did a great job. To our people who got martyred in Pahalgam.
Operation Sindoor.
Operation Sindoor. I congratulate the Indian Army and of course the government, which is government and the opposition and the entire nation strongly behind them.
Yeah.
So we wish that our civilians will be safe going forward with this kind of
we are
an action.
doing this podcast on mock drill, on the day of mock drill.
On the day of mock drill. So with a very happy note, we can start discussing our professional stuff. So once again, salute to all the armed forces. So about my journey of becoming a company secretary, basically I come from a very small town in Andhra Pradesh called Ichapuram.
Okay.
It is north coastal Andhra Pradesh, and from there my schooling, everything was done, and I am a vernacular student. I studied in my own medium. I never studied English medium till 11th of my academics. So coming from a vernacular background and getting into English medium schools and all, and naturally it happens with everyone. You tend to aspire to be a professional, and during my days only two professions were in, even nowadays also, engineering and medicine. Many people go for engineering and medicine. In fact, in my school friends, always college friends, I don't have any childhood friend or a college friend who has become a company secretary. And many of them are engineers or doctors or IT professionals. So I have chosen this way because after I did my 11th and 12th in science.
Achha,
yeah, I'm a maths, physics and chemistry student. So post that I pursued commerce. I joined BCom after securing first class distinction. I passed out in 11th and 12th in science and maths. Despite that, I wanted to join commerce.
Why?
No, it intrigued me. Many people are running after engineering and medicine. I want to be a bit away from that.
Okay, something different.
Yeah, and many people told me why you have finished your career. After I joined BCom. I lost all my respect in the sense that whatever little I had got, why I have chosen this. I said I wanted to be different. I wanted to pursue commerce. Commerce around 20 years back, not much in vogue or in demand. And the engineering and medicine were the main professions. And during that time, that IT sector was picking up. Many people pursued engineering in computer sciences and all. And many of them have went abroad, pursued higher studies and settled in America and all. But I chose a different profession. I had no fascination towards going abroad and all.
Okay.
So I picked up commerce, and after that I was wondering whether to join CA or CS or CWA. In fact, there were two inspirations behind my joining CS. One, I had a, I have an uncle who was a company secretary.
Okay.
He passed out in 1980s.
अच्छा.
Okay, so he was working in Hyderabad, and he was an inspiration for me. And when he did well, I can also give my shot. Though it was a very evolving profession in late 90s and early 2000, 25 years back. And my maternal uncle, who was in Delhi, he is a government servant. So he asked me to come to Delhi, you study here and all. Then after my graduation, I went to Delhi, and I've chosen CS among these professions, chartered accountancy and cost accountancy and CS. I thought, let me look at, company secretaryship as a profession. It was not a very, very, very deep-rooted thought. It was like, okay, let me try.
With the flow.
It was not the flow also. Not many people were joining at that point in time.
Okay.
I had my own thing. Let me try this and see how it works out. It's always like a trial and error method. When you don't have precedents, like engineering and medicine, you have a chosen path. You complete engineering, go for GRE, and then take that PG course in America, and then settle there.
Yeah.
But this is a different non-formulative path. Though they were company secretaries and established ones, but not much in.
Not much, yeah. At that time, so I think ICSI was only formed.
ICS was formed in 1980s,
Yeah.
82 or something. That act was passed, and so it was a very young profession. And I went to Delhi, I joined the course, and I joined NARC, Northern Institute Regional Council. And I joined classes there, and I tried to start learning the subject. Initially, I felt it was very tough,
Okay.
because law everywhere it is theory. You have to, by heart the provisions and all. But somehow I could, settle scores with the academic syllabus and all. Then I passed it my second attempt.
Okay.
Inter first attempt and final in second attempt, and I got qualified in 2003 and got my membership in 2004. So I was a student from 85th SMTP. Now I think they have renamed it. At
Yeah,
that time
it's
it was called,
MSOP.
it was renamed as MSOP. At that time it was SMTP, Secretarial Modular Training Program. So mine was 84th Secretarial Modular Training Program. I was a student from there.
Okay.
NIRC, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so like, sir, generally students think that CS is just about ROC filings or, stuff like
Don't
that.
call me sir, I'm just born before you. That is the only privilege I have got.
No, no.
So my name is
not
Venkat,
at all,
that's
sir.
fine.
ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है.
Yeah.
But yeah, student have this, not even student members also think that we are, restricted to ROC filing compliances. But I have seen your transition from a CS compliance role to leadership roles. So what do you have to say about that, about your journey?
See, it is about the minds of people. Nowhere in the books it says you should only be a company secretary. It is just a knowledge source.
Yeah, like
CS
we were
syllabus is a
talking
knowledge
chartered
source.
secretary.
CS syllabus is a knowledge source wherein you acquire certain level of knowledge, expert level of knowledge to conduct certain, type of responsibilities in a given organization. But it won't restrict you to think that way only.
Okay.
It is the people or students who still perceive that we are not, company secretaries, we are company law secretaries.
Oh yeah.
This is
Appropriate
a
term.
perception among students because the syllabus, the content of company law syllabus is bit, high in company secretaryship. Because rightly so, because the corporate law understanding has to be at the expert level. That's why people tend to assume that we are, company law secretaries. It is not that way.
Okay.
We are secretaries to an organization who overlook or who supervise all the functions. Whether it is financial, whether it is legal, whether it is company law related, whether it is any other corporate law related. So it is beyond that. We are only, restricting ourselves to a particular area of practice or area of thought or area of employment. It is not that way.
Okay, so you have identified this thing and you came out of it. And you
It is not
explored
identified. It is happened to me. It happened with me accidentally. It is not identified. But I thought compliance is not the only thing why we are here for and why we have studied 3-4 rigorous years of studies. Compliance is a part of that. Compliance is not an objective of company secretary or for a company secretary. It should not be the objective of a company secretary. Compliance is just a 5 to 10% part of it, so that your organization where you work for or where you give advice runs smoothly without any legal problem, without any non-compliance problem. That's it. It is an enabling thing. Compliance in itself does not bring you any business. Let me be very honest with you.
Yeah.
Compliance is the thing. Once you have business, you do compliance. It is not the other way around. You don't get into compliance first, then business. No, if there is a business, then only you get compliance. But you have to understand in that way. But if you understand in a reverse way, that you are here for compliance, when there is no business, where is the compliance?
Okay, correct.
So you have to look at that way. Ultimate objective of the organization, what is there for? You know, and any organization is for profit.
Profit, yeah.
Making profit. How the revenue comes, how the profit comes, how it is achieved. After that, if you are doing that kind of a business or that kind of an activity, what are the compliances need to be done? That company law teaches you, or corporate law teaches you. This is the way you have to do it. If you do not do it this way, this is non-compliance.
And you have to pay penalty. And
you have to pay penalties and all. So you have to apprise the management. You do business, but you do as per the provision, as per legality of that action.
Okay.
But you don't become hindrance to the business. Many people that you can't do this. You know, there are provisions in the Act which says that you cannot do this.
Correct.
It is not that way. You can still do that. What is the way out? You tell the management that. Sometimes in exigencies, management, you know, takes actions. Indirectly it amounts to non-compliance at that particular moment in time. But your duty is to make it
Smooth.
you know, smooth. Once you, okay, now this non-compliance happened because of ignorance or because of, you know, lack of time and all. Now you come back and see what is the, or you know, what is the solution. That is our business. That is our advisory capacity. We are essentially advisors. We are not compliance. We are not compliance people. Let me be very honest with my fraternity.
Yeah.
We are advisors to the management, whether in practice or in employment. Don't think that you are a compliance manager or a compliance guy. That is just 5% of what you are expected to do.
Okay.
You are advisor to the board. Maybe you start with a junior position and then slowly you go on to the top and then you directly interact with the board members. This is how journey generally happens for company secretaries. But if you think yourself as a compliance guy, then your outlook and your actions, you know,
Then you're against your
you act as you
business
think,
and-
right?
Yeah.
If you think you are a compliance guy, people will think you are a compliance guy. But if you think, no, I am an advisor, so that the management or businesses do not get into a wrong way, do not get into a non-compliance mode.
I think,
I am an enabler.
yeah.
We have to look at ourselves at that way. We are enablers.
I think this have changed my perspective also, and it is going to change a lot of our fraternity's personality also. We generally tend to assume ourselves as compliance managers, compliance officers. That is what we are named, right, sir?
These are all legal requirements. Somebody has to be named in an organization as a compliance officer. They recognize you as a person who has this knowledge. That's why they, you know, designate you as a compliance officer. But who restricts you from thinking beyond that?
Correct.
It is your mind you are restricting.
Correct. Correct.
Problem is you get identified by your degrees, by your you know, designations and all. Then you get restricted. Don't get restricted by your names, by your designations. Think what and why somebody engages us as a practitioner or an employee. Because there is business. If there is no business, there is no opportunity. So you have to think how this business is coming. Why somebody employ me? In the Act, there are some, you know, legal provisions wherein if your paid up capital is this much, you have to have a whole-time secretary. If your capital is this much, you have to have a corporate secretarial audit. So there are certain limits given by the law itself, right? So beyond that, you need a company secretary. When there is no business, when the paid up capital is negligible, they don't need to hire a company secretary as per the provisions. Then your requirement does not come into play at all. So once the business grows, then slowly there is a requirement of a, you know, an auditor, there is a requirement of returns, there is a requirement of compliance, of course by company secretary as well.
Okay. So sir, like I have seen your journey. You have transitioned from CS to CFO to CEO. So all this thing, it's not normal being a CS. Like you are a company secretary. You have, apart from CS, you are a lawyer too. So
Yeah, I'm a qualified law graduate.
qualified lawyer, and getting into finance role, being a CS, I think it's rare. A lot of CS wants to do it, but it's rare. So what do you think are the additional skills you might have encountered, or you think students should do right now so that they stand out in corporate world?
See, for students, first of all, their primary objective should be to clear the exams.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
also, I think,
Not much thinking about what somebody wants to
internship.
be, what someone actually really goes up in the career ladder. Primary objective is to clear the exams at any cost. Study hard, work hard, understand to an extent what is required for the exam. I have, I know certain people who go very deep into the subject, which is not required for the academics, which is not
Actually,
required to clear the exams.
Yeah.
I've seen people because they get obsessed about understanding the law into deeper aspects. Let us say case studies. Some people get into Supreme Court case studies and all. Yeah, probably there are some questions which give 5 to 10 marks. You study to that extent. If you delve deep into that, you are not doing PhD in company law, or for that matter, finance, mergers and acquisition. So don't get into that kind of acquisition of knowledge at the time of studentship. Your objective to clear the exam, then do a number of things, whatever you want. You just buy books, you just go on, read, as long as your inner desire, for acquisition of that kind of expertise is not satisfied. But at the student level, it is not required.
Okay.
But many students do this mistake, I have identified, even my
Yeah,
days
I know.
also.
A lot of my friends, because of this, they are not able to clear exams.
They fall behind and other people go forward, they qualify.
And then they are like, उसको तो knowledge ही क्या है, वो CS बन गया. हम तो इतना knowledge है, हम बन नहीं पाए.
क्या फर्क है, जरूरत नहीं है ना, इतना नॉलेज लेने के लिए कौन बोल रहा है, इंस्टीट्यूट भी तो नहीं बोल रहा है ना. I don't know, during our times there was a book called Ramaya on Companies Act, whether it is there in today's Ramaya, a company law by Ramaya. It's like a very big volume book. People tend to go deeper into that, understand the subject, because they get fired up to acquire that knowledge. And it gives emotional and all sort of gratification because you know law very well. You are studying, you know everything. So there has to be a limit. You have to study to the exam. Once you qualify, the world is yours. You can read 100 books, 200, 300 books on the law. And so at the student level, just focus on clearing the exam.
Okay.
Unless you are confused to choose any other profession. But if you have chosen this, first complete this. Nobody restricts you from doing another degree. For that matter, chartered accountancy, cost accountancy, CFA, SEMA, that all other courses are available. But you have to finish this. First you finish this, acquire a certain minimum standard, then go into other stuff.
Okay. And what about members, like even those who have cleared their CS, what all skills they can develop?
See, there are enough, I think, syllabus in our company secretaryship. Like I was talking to you, mergers and acquisitions, indirect taxes, direct taxes, where are other things, SEBI laws for that matter. The profession is giving you enough knowledge, but you are restricting yourself to a particular line of practice. I know many companies who are into only tax practice.
Yeah.
And many people who are into only NCLT. They only argue NCLT matters. So you have to pick up and choose, this is the specialization I want to achieve.
Okay.
Other things, anyway, you have already acquired, compliance and all. There is no necessity. Once you are a qualified company secretary, people assume that you have a certain level of knowledge. Beyond that specialization, whatever intrigued you during student days, now you have to continue after you qualify.
Okay.
Choose a specialization. Get into GST practice, get into income tax practice, get into law practice. Nobody is preventing you after you become a qualified member. It is us, our mindsets which are restricting us that we have to do this way.
Yeah, correct. So sir, now my most awaited question is your transition from CS to CFO to CEO. Like, how was this journey? I really want to know about this journey.
Journey has been very, very interesting.
From where it started?
I started immediately after I got qualified. I got my first job in JK Group.
Okay.
In JK Tires, subsidiary of JK Tires, but group company secretary sit at the same place. So I worked there for 3 months as an assistant company secretary.
Wow.
Then I had to leave that job because of my LLB final examinations. Okay. So I quit that job and then I cleared my LLB exams. Then again went back to the market, seeking jobs, roles and all. It was very tough during my time. Probably it was difficult for me. I could not get a job after I quit 9 months, 9 to 10 months I did not get any job.
Oh my God.
Then again I said, my inspiration, my uncle who was a company secretary, I called him up, uncle, getting very frustrated, not getting any job. He said, let me see how I can help you. Then on a single day he called me up, there is a vacancy in Karvi Group. He asked me, can you come for interview? I said, why not? Then I flew from Flew, I don't say. Nowadays we use flew because at that time we were trains only. I traveled from Delhi to Hyderabad, and
Okay.
this is interesting part. Karvi Computer Share, it's a registry agency. Today it is acquired by General Atlantic.
Okay.
It has become a very big company.
Wow.
I was interviewed by the head of registry there. His name is Mr. Ganapati Subramanian. So I came from Delhi. I studied in Delhi, as I said. So I traveled to Hyderabad. I came for interview. He made me wait for 6 hours on the first day.
Oh.
I waited, having my resume,
Resume.
CV, biodata, whatever you call it. 6 hours, morning 10 to evening 4. And the assistant to vice president comes and says, sorry sir, he is not there.
Oh
he
my God.
he went to Bangalore. I said, he called me for interview. Oh, sorry sir. Then. And second day, repeated the same. Morning 10 to evening 4. I waited. Again, that guy did not appear. It happened for third day. Third day the same. Morning 10 to evening 4. I waited for literally 18 hours. Of course, 3 days, because
So collectively.
post 4 nobody will be there, to take interviews. So 18 hours it took me for my interview after I quit my first job. And then on the third day he comes. He was a gentleman. He said sorry to me. I made you wait for 18 hours. I said, thank God, whether I get this job or not, at least you appeared before me for this interview. I was so happy that guy came to me and said, he called me inside the cabin, and I waited for 18 hours. He said, he just gone through my CV and said, no, I don't need to interview, you are a qualified company secretary. I assume that you got required knowledge for this job. He asked me a reverse question, whether you are interested to do a registry job or not.
Oh.
रजिस्ट्री वॉज ए कंपनी सेक्रेटरीज के लिए थोड़ा सा नीचे लेवल जॉब हो जाता है रजिस्ट्री का.
Okay.
आई सेड आई वांट ए जॉब एट एनी कॉस्ट, यू गिव मी व्हाटएवर आई विल डू. देन ही सेड ओके, यू आर सेलेक्टेड, डन, एवरीथिंग इज डन. देन आई quickly conclude, to get that appointment letter I had to wait for another 3 months. I celebrated that I got selected, and it took 3 months to get the appointment letter. I again got frustrated.
Your patience level.
It happens, I didn't know it would happen with me. It happened with me. Then after 3 months, I joined them. And I joined, and he said, no, you don't get into the registry, you go to your secretarial division of the company. So Karvi had many group companies at that point in time. And incidentally, my uncle was heading the secretarial function. He was the group company secretary. He called me to him, you work with me. I said,
Wow.
wherever you put me now, I'll work, because it's almost 3 months I was waiting for that appointment letter. So I joined, and I worked with his name is Mr. Sharma, A.N. Sharma.
Okay.
I worked with him. I used to come every day to the office. It happened, it's 10 days have passed by. And a single day I went to my uncle, because I had, bit of freedom with him. I said, I'm getting bored. What? You wanted a job, you got it, you got the good salary. At the time, 12,000, I think, yeah. 12,000
It was good at that time.
It was good at that time, in 2004-5. And you are getting bored in 10 days. I said, somehow it is not, enticing me to come to office every day, because I'm drafting resolutions for him. He's, correcting it, for filing the forms. Though I have studied everything in the academic syllabus and all, it was not, I got, frustrated in 10 days.
Okay.
I went to him, uncle, I'm not able to understand where I'll go, because I'm not feeling like coming to office at all. With due respect to, compliance profession, he said, no, you have to go that way only. Initially, nobody will give you big tasks, because being a junior, you will be given smaller tasks, and slowly you will, improvise, and then you become a senior, you will get bigger tasks to, as a company secretary, what you were told. I said, it is fine. So what happened on a single day, Karvi had an investment banking arm called Karvi Investor Services Limited. So some company secretary in that investment banking division quit.
Oh.
Then immediately the vice president, head of investment banking, was searching for a guys whether they could get somebody from inside. Then he called up my boss. Do you have any young people who can join our investment banking? Then I really am grateful to my uncle, boss, whatever you call it. He immediately asked me, "You are getting bored now?" Yeah, I'm getting bored. There is an opportunity. You want to go? I said, whatever it is, I will pursue. He said, go in the first floor. We were in the first floor. They were in the second floor. He said, go and give the interview in investment banking. And I went to the second floor rushing. and the head of investment banking, whom I'm still in touch with, Mr. Prashant Kumar, he asked me, will not get any salary rise because it is investment banking, you will get the same salary. I said, you deduct my salary, I don't mind, but I want to join this division.
Okay.
That's why it happened that I jumped into investment banking.
Okay, okay.
So from there on, that IPOs, mergers and acquisitions, open offers,
And you
takeovers.
performed really well that they made you the CFO?
No, there the investment banking, there you won't get any CFOs and all. There you become associate, senior associate, assistant vice president and vice president, then head of investment banking.
Okay.
There are no CFOs.
Okay.
Because group will have different CFOs and company secretaries. But investment banking arms won't have CFOs and all. They are only VP, senior VP, head of investment banking, like that. So those designations in investment banking. So I continued my journey. It was very interesting because I was, when during a company secretary course, you're always willing to join a company which goes for an IPO. I never got that
Opportunity.
And once I joined investment banking, I immediately got that opportunity to work for companies which were going for IPOs. And my job was IPO only.
Yeah.
IPO, private equity, M&A, open offers. So my complete profile was that. So I was so happy.
Wow.
Then I said, no, I'll give my 100% to this because I love that.
So this CS knowledge helped you in this?
Of
thing?
course, CS knowledge, whatever I have read, it is immensely helpful to me. I was respected in investment banking.
Is it?
Yeah, more than MBS, with due respect to all the professions, because of knowledge of corporate law. I was respected for complaints. SEBI, is very particular about compliances for companies going public. So that way, it was very, very helpful. All those forms, whether the companies which were going for IPO, they were compliant or not. I used to check and all. So it was very nice. I became an auditor. I became a secretarial auditor much before, this secretarial audit became compulsory. In the sense, practically.
Wow.
So that I enjoyed. And apart from that, financials, balance sheet understanding. Whether really, because my boss used to go for pitching for an IPO. You get a client and you get fee as a investment banking. So I used to go with him. So to get the mandate of an IPO, you need to pitch in with your credentials, what you have done earlier, how you can make an IPO successful. This is the process is divided into like a compliance, like filing a prospectus. There are 3 different stages: draft, red herring.
RHP,
So we call DRHP, RHP, and prospectus. Those 3 stages are compliance related, and post that you have to sell the issue as an investment banker. So those 4 stages I have really enjoyed. I used to work till 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the night. I was a bachelor and my boss was very particular. Even if you go 1 o'clock in the night, you have to come back to office at morning 9. Yeah, we have to punch. We were very happy because we were bachelors. Doesn't matter, 4 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep was good enough.
Okay.
So those years I've enjoyed. Then I moved to Mumbai, Anand Rathi.
Yeah.
Again investment banking. So it happened.
Like
But the question is, if I during the 10 days, if I have not disclosed my thought process or shared my thought process with my boss, I would have never got this opportunity.
It takes guts to admit that I'm not liking this work.
Yeah, it was almost like it was my very first job, and I expressed my unwillingness or whatever I felt. Then only he came back and shown somewhere is there. He's a very great human being. Otherwise, many people will take it as an ego.
They will be like, "और क्या करोगे
Right?
तुम?" हाँ.
Then why did you get into this? Then you quit. But he was so gracious enough to ask me, there is an opportunity. You are anyway. You said you are not getting along with this kind of compliance and all. Go there. And I really owe my whatever I am today is because of him. Had I not got into investment banking, probably I don't know where I would be.
Like there are so many students who wishes to become, who wishes to join investment banking as a CS. So can you guide them?
No, once you join investment banking, there is no CS.
Okay.
You are an associate.
Yeah, but as a CS,
You are an investment banker. You will be known as investment banker. You are not known as a company secretary who is an investment banker.
But
Not like
as
that.
a CS means on the basis of the CS degree. They
Yeah,
want
yeah.
to
Basis of
join.
CS degree with the knowledge that you have acquired, you should give a shot. If any student or any qualified member gets that opportunity, they should really,
Join it.
pick it. Like I picked it up because of it happened with me. Had I not got, I would not have got. But I was very open to know where I want to go.
Okay.
Despite being a qualified secretary and know the compliance and all, that was not my cup of tea. मैं लंबा नहीं कर सकता हूँ. इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि आई एम डिसरेस्पेक्टिंग दैट. I know where my attitude, my skills and all. You need to identify your skills, attitude, wherein you will fit well.
Okay.
But if you constrain yourself with your degree, then you cannot think beyond that.
But saying this, I would again need, like to highlight to students because they should not think this in a negative term. सर को CS की knowledge काम आई थी.
This is not negative. Let me tell my
Yeah.
fellow secretaries and students who are actually going through it and passed out. Compliance is just again 5 to 10% part of it. Why are not talking of indirect taxes? Why are not talking of direct taxes? Why are you not talking of mergers and acquisitions which you are taught?
Yeah.
Why you are focusing on compliance?
I don't know.
Because nation wants you to be seen like that? No. Company wants wants you to see like that? No. You have to be beyond that. That is just a part of it.
Like I am so shocked, sir. You won't believe they ask me कि आप जॉब नहीं करते, आप प्रैक्टिस नहीं करते, आप पैसा कैसे कमा रहे हो? I am like, why do you restrict yourself thinking that CS?
पैसा आ जाएगा, कहीं से भी आ जाएगा. पैसा आना कोई बात नहीं है. बट अगर आपका जॉब आप एंजॉय ही नहीं कर पा रहे हो, तो आप कितना सक्सेसफुल हो पाओगे? ये बड़ी मुश्किल है. अभी बहुत सारे मैनेजमेंट लेक्चर्स में आते हैं, डू व्हाट यू लाइक. These are all jargon that nowadays people use. You will be successful once you do what you like. So if you start doing it right initially, from initial point of your career, you will definitely be successful. But choosing that where you will be happy, where you will be doing what what interests you, finding that is very tough.
Is your own decision, yeah.
Finding that, you find that.
You have to come
One
out
has
of
to
the
find
comfort
that.
zone, yeah.
Yeah, one has to find that. I would say if it's not interested, leave it. Pursue something else. बट नहीं CS किया था तो यही काम करना पड़ेगा. ये किसने बोला है? ये किसने बोला है?
क्या पता सर किसने. मैं भी खुद वो किताब ढूंढ रही हूँ कहाँ लिखा है वैसा. Because
ये एक सर्टेन लेवल ऑफ एक्सपर्ट नॉलेज है जिसके लिए आपने ज्वाइन किया था, जिसके लिए आपने क्वालिफाई कर दिया था. उसके बाद तो स्काई इज द लिमिट. किसने बोला आपको यही काम करने के लिए?
See, there are so many people like आप भी you are CS turned into entrepreneur. So ऐसे तो कुछ नहीं है कि CS की नॉलेज सिर्फ कंप्लाइंस.
Knowledge is, whether it is any profession, knowledge is very valuable. You never know when it will be helpful to you.
Yeah. So sir आपका हमने CFO तक
And
का
if there are 10 company secretaries, you will not get respect because you know law very well. But just think that you are among 10 non-company secretaries and you know corporate law.
Wow.
What is your importance?
इधर आओ सब बुलाते हैं.
Isn't it? And you want to be among that fraternity who know law very well, and you still want to have a place for yourself. Then you have to put extra hard work, and you have to take a longer period of time to excel in that.
Competitive field. This is such an amazing advice.
इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग में मेरे लिए एडवांटेज ये था, कोई था ही नहीं उधर कंपनी सेक्रेटरी जो कॉर्पोरेट लॉ जानता हो. MBAs were there, IM grads were there. ऐसा नहीं कि there are very very highly qualified people, but those who are corporate law people who understand corporate law and then sync that with an IPO process and fundraising, I was the only guy. So I got my attention. So CS has given me enough knowledge to be able to facilitate that process very very well.
Amazing, great. So sir CFO तक तो हमने आपका जर्नी समझा. इसके बाद CFO से CEO कैसे जाते?
नहीं, CFO वैसे नहीं बना था. क्या हुआ था, I gone into this investment banking, IPOs and all that. That intrigued me. IPO, we are advisors. Basically, you are advisor. As a banker, you are not called executive. You are an advisor to a corporate. You analyze balance sheets, you analyze financials, you analyze valuation models. You analyze all this stuff, which company can go for an IPO, cannot go for an IPO. So during this process, I interacted with senior level of management like MDs, joint MDs, CFOs. So I interacted with them since my early days of banking career when I was very young. So it was my privilege because as a young guy you can just get away with any mistake. Once you are a senior, nobody allows you that room to make any mistake. But since I got into that initially, I was very very young, so people just ignored my mistakes. Then I could learn very well. They work very hard and build the numbers, and then finally they are posted in the balance sheet. These are the hard work of people who have thought of creating an enterprise. Then that intrigued me. Numbers कहाँ से लाएंगे? So that intrigued me. Then the Jawed Habib Limited happened. We were advising them for an IPO.
Okay.
Then there was a time where the promoters offered me, why don't you join as a CFO?
Wow, being a CS you were off.
No, they never seen me as a company secretary. I was an investment banker and I used to talk of business. I used to talk of,
But
you
they
know,
didn't needed this CA degree for CFO.
no, they did not feel. My boss was, I will tell you, who offered me along, with the promoter. He was an IIT grad and he is from ISB.
Oh,
Because we interacted for a year and a half, he offered me, you are a fit guy for finance. You take care of my finance division and I'll be free. I can take care of growth of the business. Then you take care of my finance and legal, then I can focus on building the business. I immediately said, now I got an opportunity to see how these numbers are actually built from the scratch and finally posted on the balance sheet, which we are analyzing, which I had been analyzing for initial 9 years. So मेरे को वो थोड़ा सा exploration करना था. Then I shifted to execution from advisory.
okay. And then from CFO to CEO.
I'll tell you, advisor, you get lot of respect. आपको ज़्यादा कुछ टेंशन नहीं है. हाँ, टेंशन है एग्जीक्यूशन करने के लिए. द एग्जीक्यूशन इज़ अ फार डिफरेंट स्टफ. एग्जीक्यूशन में नॉलेज के साथ साथ आपको लोगों के साथ कैसे डील करना है वो भी जानना आना. हाउ यू कंडक्ट योर सेल्फ विद योर जूनियर्स, द लोएस्ट लेवल ऑफ पीपल, बिकॉज इट इज़ एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एंड ऑफ द डे. Many people are doing it, it's not that way. That's what I have learned as an executioner, as a CFO and legal head.
Okay. So I generally ask to my guest कि एक CS का दिन कैसा दिखता है, but you being the CEO, I would like to know कि एक CEO का दिन कैसा दिखता है, a whole typical day in the life of a CEO.
Oh, it's not, I mean, it's different from different people.
Yeah.
For me, it was like 40% is administrative stuff.
Okay.
Looking after, operations division ने
हाँ.
क्या किया है, उधर से reporting आया है, what they have achieved, what they are trying to do in the next month or couple of months. So this 40% is, towards what happened in the last month or a week, depending on the periodicity of meetings. And rest 20-30% is towards what to be done to improve the business.
Okay.
So that is very important. That 30% you always, because you will not have anybody to discuss with. Either you discuss with the promoter, who is generally busy, and you have to come out with your own thought process. And this is the way I have to go so that numbers can be improved, sales can be grown. This is the new vertical line of business that we can get into. This is a promising field where we can explore to build the revenue, to make the company ready for an IPO. So that was very interesting. Finally, I was always looking for business development in investment banking. I never got that. In investment banking, I remained an execution guy. But I wanted business development because I want to interact more with the people, so how the business can be developed and all. But as a CEO, I got that opportunity. The entire company was with me. You grow. The investors have confided in me that you grow the business. And from a loss-making venture, we together, under my leadership, took it to a profitable level of 4-5 crores.
Wow. Even I wanted to know this how, like what were the major changes, shift that you guys implemented to make a loss-making entity into a profit-making entity?
You need to identify the loopholes, where you are bleeding, where you are actually doing unproductive expenditure, and which verticals you are actually leaving where you can make revenue, you can make money, and working hard on that, believing in something. Initially, you believe, you make the management believe, and you make your juniors believe. This is the function of a CEO. He acts like a bridge between the team and the top level management. That's board members. So you have to make them understand. You have to make your juniors understand to execute your plan. Once that is approved by the board. So you have got two tasks. One, convincing the board, and convincing the juniors to execute that. Some people will not agree to your plan. These juniors, he said, no, he said, chalega nahi. But you cannot, though you are a boss, you cannot tell them, "Ye chalega, you just do it." No, you can't be do that. You can't be doing that. You just have to tell them why it may work. Let us try this. So you have to work with juniors like that. Or people in operations, people in sales department, you have to work with them. Let us try this together. If you say, "I am right," then you are gone. He might support you because it is a compulsion, because he is being paid for every month. He might support you initially, but he will not be with you mentally, emotionally. Wholeheartedly, आपके साथ अगर नहीं रहेगा, so it is very difficult to achieve results. So my job was to do that. Convincing my board members as well as my team to execute a particular, business plan, business expansion.
Like what one major strategy you can share if possible of Jawed Habib that help them to turn into profit making entity?
I said you pick up the loopholes, fix them, and try to identify where which other verticals you can get
Like
money
I've
from.
seen Jawed Habib ke outlets near
Yeah,
me also. There are so
we
many.
have sold around 1400 outlets in India. Some of them shut. Now it is 1,000 plus.
Is it?
Yeah, when I joined the company, there were 225 outlets.
Oh,
When I quit, it is almost like 1200.
wow. That's amazing. That's good. So what quality you think आपके अंदर promoters या फिर investors को दिखी होगी जो trust आया आप पे कि you can be the CEO or you can be the CFO, so our crowd can, you know.
Trust is something you earn. It won't happen overnight.
Okay.
Okay. When they asked me to join them, it took me around a decade almost, 8-9 years to build that trust. Trust comes when you advise any person rightfully. Again, mind my words, students and members. Without any inhibitions, you think what is right, you advise them. Whether they do it or not, that is not your job. But you are expected to give an advice, give the right advice. Leave it there. They may not follow it, but they will understand this guy is a guy who advises correctly. That is the process wherein you gain trust. You don't really care for whether they praise you or whether they do not praise you. Leave it that. Those things you don't worry about. But you think what is right as a professional, you advise them. That is the best thing. As an advisor, you must always be unbiased,
Okay.
impartial. I think I have been doing that in a very good way. That if I do not understand something, I said to the members, I don't understand. You will burn your money. This is what I believe.
Oh.
I directly tell them, and I tell them this is the legal risk. If you do not do this, it will, put the entire company at risk. And I am very vocal about it. And I put that in writing. I don't hesitate even if to the chairman. If something is wrong, it might lead to problems, I will put it in writing.
Oh.
Okay, this might endanger the very existence of the company itself. There are why company secretaries. आपको पूरा लाइफ स्पैन में 2-3 ऐसी चीज़ें मिलेंगी जहाँ पे you have to act, which makes people understand you are really thinking about it. ये बाकी सब जो है ना peripheral knowledge है, but वो knowledge how you will use to better your company, how you de-risk your management from the actions, that is very important. कोई भी चीज़ें हैं, चाहे वो टैक्स कंप्लेंट्स की ना हो, चाहे कंपनी लॉ कंप्लेंट्स की ना हो, एनीथिंग यू हैव टू बी वेरी वेरी क्लियर. Small things you can get away with the punishments. I mean 500 penalty, 1000, that is fine. But if something really endangers you, that you have to pick it up. If you do not do this trademark, let us say I will give an example. If there is a trademark, if you do not register yourself, you are expanding, your boss will not listen to you. He say let us invest and let us go, let us expand. And if you do not get the trademark registered in time, someone else will copy it. Then you will lose that business. I'm just sharing a smaller aspect of it. Similarly, there are so many legal risks. So being a company secretary and a law graduate, it is your duty to identify what are those legal risks which can endanger the management in person, because law prescribes certain penalties on individuals also as directors and as an organization. So you have to de-risk it with your knowledge. Compliance is not, please again, I share with my fraternity, compliance is, leave it. But understand those provisions of law which affects your management as a director and your entity as an organization. Just focus on them. Even though you do small mistakes, you can still get away. बैलेंस शीट फाइल नहीं किया, ठीक है, थोड़ा पेनल्टी करके फाइल कर देना. बट आपने ऐसा कुछ मिस्टेक किया है जिसका कॉस्ट इतना भारी पड़ने वाला है मैनेजमेंट पे, तो आप अपने आप को माफ़ नहीं कर पाओगे. देन मैनेजमेंट विल नॉट फॉरगिव यू बिकॉज यू आर एक्सपेक्टेड टू डिस्चार्ज दैट.
Okay, so being impartial, being honest is what
Absolutely.
might have gained trust.
Yes.
Okay, good. So sir, कोई एक CS का बच्चा या फिर मेंबर ये वीडियो देख रहा होगा and he or she wishes to become an entrepreneur, तो आप उनको क्या एडवाइस देना चाहोगे?
CS का एक एडवांटेज क्या है, आपको बोर्ड के साथ काम करने के लिए मिलेगा. दैट्स व्हाट बुक्स से, दैट्स व्हाट मेनी पीपल हु हैव एक्चुअली built their careers, they become whole term directors, they have become board members.
Correct.
Right? So when you work with the management, particularly board members, you only focus on non-compliance part. Compliance is anyway, it is your task. You would have done that by the board meeting. If you are a listed company, inform the BSC or
stock
NSC.
exchange.
Other things are taken care of. Assume that that is your fundamental task. It's like breathing for an individual, for a human being. That is the fundamental thing that you need to have to live. But can you say that is my achievement, that I am breathing?
No.
You have to do things beyond that.
Yeah.
Breathing is a fundamental aspect that is expected of every human being. If he is alive, means he is breathing. Similarly, for company secretaries, compliance is a breathing. That is expected of you. But leave it that, don't focus on that. That anyway happens. You, whenever you interact with board members or CFOs or senior management, you try to understand their perspective. How they want to conduct the business, how they want to grow the business, why they want to pass a certain resolution, why they want to borrow loans, why they want to take loans as a director, which generally Companies Act prohibits.
Yeah.
You know. So why? What is the requirement? If the Companies Act prohibits, what is the way of doing it? If it is really necessary. So you have to get into that mode of, because see, entrepreneur is a successful man, right? You agree to that? If you are joining him as an employee or as a company secretary, he is already successful. That's why you are working with him.
Yeah.
That means if you have got the time to work with a successful individual in your organization near to your cabin, you learn from him, right? You don't read books anymore. You learn that book which is walking, which is talking to you every day. So you learn from them how they are doing their business, how they want to do, what are their ambitions. Spend time with them, understanding their vision, perspective. It might not be helpful immediately, but that will sow a seed inside your brain to think like an entrepreneur.
Wow.
So use this profession. This gives you an edge to go to the management very fast, to go to the board member, to go to an entrepreneur directly, which other professions, degrees does not immediately give. They may get more money. Like for example, an IT engineer, he might get more salary than a normal company secretary, but he will not get the
Access to
access to the managing director. Let us say somebody is working with Microsoft, somebody is working with, let us say, Infosys. Any bigger company or medium company you take, they will not have access to the board. But a company secretary of Infosys can directly talk to Mr. Murthy.
Yeah, definitely.
So use that bridge to enrich yourself in terms of entrepreneurial skills.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Take note, guys. Essay. Like even I also used to do this because being a CS at a trainee level also we get an opportunity to somehow interact with board members for scheduling board meeting and dates. ऐसे हम connection बना सकते हैं. So it's good.
Human, right? Why will not say to you if you ask some suggestion?
Definitely.
But do not hesitate. If you have a doubt, ask them. However silly it may look like.
Correct.
Who cares as long as you acquire knowledge?
Correct. So, sir, like, what advice would you give to students how to face failure? I mean, in any say interview or in exams, they feel stuck, and it's normal to feel demotivated.
Yeah.
But how to face it? How to come out of it?
Try it again. The only way to come out of it is try another interview. Do it again. If you do not fail, you don't know what is success. And there is no individual in the world who continuously got succeeded. The most successful people on the earth, whether they are in any profession, it is not that their life is absence of failures. Everybody has failures. We also have failures. It's not a failure. Probably you would have done some mistake, or maybe that guy is not in a mood to select you. What you can do? That you would not anyway come to know. If your interviewer's mood is not good, he would have fought with his wife. Anyway, he will not select you. This is not the question. That particular, we would have committed a mistake in answering his question. Right?
Right.
So just understand where you went wrong.
Okay, and kind of not treat this as the end of the life.
Why end of the life?
They treat it as
Life is very precious. Life is not CS, neither CA nor CWA. Life is much beyond that.
Correct.
And again, my suggestion is to shed all these degrees, designations and all. These things will give you, these are some tools. CS bolo, aap CA bolo, I was a CEO, vice president, whatever it was. They are all tools to enrich your knowledge, to enrich your responsibility. But if you start identifying yourself with those degrees, with those designations, then you would get into a trap. You would find it very difficult to come out.
Yeah, I mean.
You will not learn. Your learning will stop.
Yeah.
that is very difficult. And then I started doing that at the very initial level. I qualified means my only relief was I don't need to appear for the exams again. That was my biggest achievement, I believe. I never felt मैं qualify हो गया हूँ, कुछ हो जाएगा. No. Now I do not need to appear in exam. I was very happy.
Yeah, so I think they, especially CS members think कि अब डिग्री मिल गई है, अब बस अब सब हो जाएगा, दूसरे दिन केबिन मिल जाएगा.
ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. कैबिन वैबिन की बात नहीं है. डिग्री आपको एक लेवल से नीचे नहीं गिराएगा. डिग्री आपको नॉलेज दिया है जो आप यूज़ कर सकते हो एट रिलेवेंट पॉइंट्स इन टाइम. डिग्री कभी वेस्ट नहीं होता है, नॉलेज है वो. अगेन मैं वही कह रहा हूँ, डिग्री से आइडेंटिफाई मत करो अपने आप को. यू हैव जॉइंड दैट प्रोफेशन फॉर अ पर्पस. फर्स्ट पर्पस इज टू क्लियर द एग्जाम. तो क्लियर कर दो, उसके बाद करना क्या है वो सोचो. डिग्री हो गया है, कुछ हो जाएगा. जितने बहुत लोग, आई हैव सीन अ पर्सन हु इज डन फ्रॉम IIT बॉम्बे. You know, that guy was working for $50,000.
Is
Can you
it?
believe
Is
it?
it?
Not now, 20 years back.
Okay, okay.
He would have been successful. I cannot comment on that. So it is how you take it up. How you take it up, that is very important. And I know a person, my boss in Carvi was only a BCom graduate.
Boss.
Yeah, who was the vice president. He was only BCom graduate. So it does not, you know, it is your own thought process and attitude which are very important. Degrees are tools you are going to acquire which are really good. These are like ornaments that, you know, you wear. You know, these ornaments give you beauty. But if you, even if you remove them, you must have got something inside you which radiates that beauty. So even same, people with knowledge radiate that beauty without degrees.
Okay.
But this degrees will give you all those, you know, ornaments, give you a beautiful look. And an eligibility to enter some sector or some corporate. That's it. And if you consider beyond that, then you are in a trap.
Perfect. I mean, how wonderfully you have explained this. I mean, perfect example.
Yeah, this is what I perceive. This is my own thought process.
Great, great. So, sir, one last question.
Yeah.
वैसे तो बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस है, बट what advice, you know, suggestions you can give to ICSI if someone from ICSI is watching this podcast?
ICSI, there's been a long-standing demand, right? Our profession should be renamed as Chartered Secretary. I mean, not a company secretary.
Okay.
We should be renamed as Chartered Secretaries. If that needs a legal amendment through Parliament, that should be pursued by the elite of ICSI, the President and all our body. As a member, it is our demand, or it must be our demand, that the name should be changed to Chartered Secretary, not Company Secretary. It's what I believe.
Okay, like chartered accountant, so
Chartered
something
accountant.
like that.
In UK, they call it a Chartered Secretary, I believe.
Yeah, correct, correct.
So during my days, this discussion happened many a times.
Oh.
And I don't know why they haven't pursued this to rename the Institute of Company Secretaries of India to Institute of Chartered Secretaries of India. That gives a wider connotation to your profession. That should be done, I believe. When you are young people, you should say, you know, Chartered Secretary gives a better vibration, catchy word.
People generally understand us as हम company के secretary है या फिर personal secretary है, because the term is like that. It's company secretary. If
Chartered Secretary would be a better option.
And we have all that knowledge, we are learning everything, so why not change it to as Chartered Secretary?
Yeah, so through this medium I request the esteemed members of the institute, I mean who are office bearers of the ICSI,
please.
Right from president to all members. So if you can be tried upon to change the name of company secretary to a Chartered Secretary, that would be great.
That would be great. I hope this request gets, you know, heard.
Yeah, heard.
Yeah, and action can be taken off.
Yes.
Okay. And sir, one more question.
Yeah.
Like, you are so experienced in this, so what do you think our profession might go in 10 years, and do we have more options in future for leadership roles as a CS?
I will tell you again, coming back to the qualification part, leadership is not a qualification.
Yeah,
it is a trait.
Skill, yeah.
That whether a CS, CA or MBA, anybody can have that trait. You must have in yourself. Even if you become an IM grad, you might not have that leadership skill. You might have that acumen to qualify IM and you qualified as an MBA grad. Not everybody is ending as leaders in their roles. It is a trait that one should possess. And to lead, that means you must have got something more than the other guy. Otherwise, how can you lead?
Correct.
Even in family also, if you want to lead, children will listen to you to an extent because you are either their father or mother. Beyond a point, they understand this guy does not have that in him to lead me, right? Our own children. So imagine if you want to lead in corporate world, what sort of skills and attributes or attitude you need to have. Those things you have to develop.
Okay.
CS, CA or any profession will give you, but you have to have it in you. आप अपने आप को restrict कर देते हो तो आप अपना attitude को, अपना skills को restrict कर देते हो. That is, you are doing injustice to your own character. And blaming CS for that is not good.
Yeah, actually.
CS is a wonderful profession which gives you good tools to scale up. Beyond that, it is your responsibility how you use that tool. You know, with a knife you can kill a person, you can cut vegetables also. It is up to you how you want to use that degree or knowledge which you have acquired.
Okay. Wonderful discussion, sir. It was wonderful talking with you, and a lot of knowledge was shared with us. And I'm really privileged and happy to know all these things coming directly from you.
Yeah, my pleasure as well that you thought it worth to invite me to share my thoughts. So I'm very happy to share my thought process, my small journey, whatever it is, with you and to the fraternity.
It will really help the students. I'm very much sure.
I really wish them all the best, and they can definitely achieve. They have to think beyond. But first of all, as a student, their focus should be to clear the exam and become a member, and then pursue whatever they want to do. And for a member, they want to get into specialization, they need to get into that specialization.
Perfect. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, and have a nice day. Thank you.
You.